So let's talk about Experian. Can you tell us about the company and what you do within the company?
Sure. Experian is a multi-billion-dollar global organization that is very involved with consumers around the world on many different levels. It is basically broken into three or four parts. Most of us at the consumer level know of Experian as one of the three credit bureaus out there that track people's credit reliability and performance. That is where the company, in a sense, made its bones. There are other parts to Experian. There is the interactive part of Experian, which on any given day, truth be told, people don't realize this, that they are the largest, if not the largest, one of the largest internet advertisers in the country. They own sites such as freecreditscores.com, PriceGrabber, Lower My Bills, Classes.com, and such. You'd be hard-pressed to go to a website on any given day and not see an Experian ad. The part of Experian that Simmons lives in is Experian Marketing Services. And in that sense, Experian is one of the largest, if not the largest, compiler and maintainer of consumer databases. There are parts of marketing services that include Cheetah Mail, which is the largest and most successful deployer of emails. There's Hitwise, which tracks people's online behavior. There's QAS for address verification. There's any number of divisions such as this, and Simmons, as the premier sampling research company, consumer research company in the business, falls into the marketing services division, which tries and succeeds at providing a complete profile of the American consumer.
You had mentioned internet data as well as the other kinds of consumer usage data. Is there a way of taking your internet data and helping to create a cross-platform measurement in partnership with the measurement company?
Well, it's interesting you ask that question, because in the about 2 weeks ago at Simmons, we made a rather significant announcement to the marketplace where we unveiled our plans to bring Simmons Connect to the industry in the fall of this year. And exactly what Simmons Connect will do speaks to your question. We are at the moment at a watershed, where it is a watershed moment in the industry right now as technology and media converge, and the ability to understand the consumer's interaction with online behavior, mobile behavior, and traditional media behavior is greater than ever. And how companies plan for that, spend their money against that behavior, has become critically important. What Simmons Connect will do, again speaking to your question, will use passive measurement procedures to gather transactional data that people are involved with on their PCs, on their mobile phones, and bring that together with the 60,000 variables that Simmons collects within the National Consumer Study, including that of traditional media. So the planning process will be made ever more robust by the inclusion, by, in a sense, breaking down the silos between all these various options to the consumer, letting you know who's viewing and when, and what else you need to know about these people in terms of their lifestyle and life stage information and consumption information. It's a very powerful tool to be added to the planning arsenal of our clients.
Can we talk a little bit about methodology for the Connect service, sample size, that kind of thing?
Sure. The sample size, there'll be two pieces to it in terms of sample. We will be using our National Consumer Study respondents. People have already taken the survey. So in that sense, we'll be starting with a base of 25,000 respondents, adults 18 years or older. We will be supplementing that with a panel of about 3,500 people who, as I said, have already taken the survey, so we have all this information about them. They will be asked to make use of a passive electronic measurement system that will be placed either on their mobile phone and or on their computers at home, so that we will be able to gather their activities on those devices, and then through statistical procedures that are unique to Simmons, we'll be able to drive their information back into the National Consumer Study, where we collect other information about what devices people use, why they use it, what's their primary use of these devices, how long do they use it, and how often do they use it, along with all the variables about consumption and media behavior and marketing behavior and lifestyle and life stage information. It's a very, very powerful way of collecting information in a syndicated fashion to give you a sense of the viewer and the consumer.
You mentioned mobile, you mentioned computers. Are you also measuring tablets?
Yes, I'm sorry, that's a good point. We will also measure tablets, we'll measure game stations, we'll measure e-readers and such. The methodology, the means that we're using will allow us to pick up that information as well. We'll be able to look at the app experiences, we'll be able to understand the length and frequency of texting and voice activities on these devices. We'll track all the URL activities on the mobile and the digital devices. It'll be a complete measure of what is taking place in the total media experience.
Have you seen some data from this? Have there been any surprises or something interesting based on preliminary results?
We did. We actually pilot tested the passive measure that we're going to use for mobile with a small sampling of people, and it was fascinating to see what people use their phones. It was consistent with what we had suspected going into it, and you could see differences by age and by gender as to what they used it for and when, and it was very, very consistent with what our expectations were that we'd set.
So where is Connect right now in the process? When will it be released?
Connect right now is at the stage where we are still testing the methodologies a little bit more closely. We are very shortly going to start recruiting for the panel. We'll be gathering information from it in the spring, and our plan is to begin to release information in the fall of this year to our clients.
Is there any thought at some point to bring on a measurement partner for television like a Nielsen or set-top box data processor?
We have any number of strategic partnerships here. We do not have a not invented here attitude, so we are open to discussions. We've had some already. I would not rule it out. At the moment, Connect is a Simmons-centric offering because of the advantages that we bring to it in and of ourselves is that we can do this on a syndicated basis, not a custom basis, not a benchmark study. We can provide the sample sizes necessary for a study of this scope. We can release it on a regular basis, and we can bring it back in within the National Consumer Study with all the variables. But that, again, as I said earlier, we are open to discussion with strategic partners, and some of that discussion has already begun.
And what about rollout for the Connect service?
Well, as I mentioned, the announcement was made a couple of weeks ago. We will be meeting with our clients and prospective clients for Connect during this month in a series of breakfasts in all the major cities. We will be spending time in individual sessions with the clients. As I mentioned, we're beginning the process of recruiting the panel side of it in the springtime, and information will be flowing into our clients' offices in the fall, hopefully in time for planning for the new year that presents itself. Again, we're very excited about it. It's a very, very unique offering. There are other options that have been proposed in the marketplace that look at the people's connectivity, so to speak, but what makes Connect itself very powerful is the ability to make it consumer-centric, understand what these people are doing with a sample size that's large enough to make it a powerful tool to understand not only their involvement with the media itself or the medium itself, but also everything else you want to know about the individual. A 360-degree view of the people involved with each of these, and to move it across media so I can take a look at incremental reach as I add different options into my media plan. I can look at amplification, brand amplification, if I'm a media company and I want to understand when I have multiple outlets for the franchise, if I want to understand what the primary outlet, if it's take the case of ESPN. ESPN has the cable network, it has the .com option, and it has the magazine. What happens, and it has mobile capabilities. What happens when what's the strength that's added to the proposal when I add each of these together? And I understand what people are doing, why they're going to these sites, and how much time they're spending there. And what is it these people do with the rest of their lives. It's an extraordinarily powerful offering.
What is the size of the opt-in panel, and how will that be merged with the NCS panel?
The opt-in panel itself will be in the neighborhood of 3,500 adults 18 plus. It will then be integrated with the National Consumer Study, which is 25,000 in size, adults 18 plus, so that the information that's being worked with will be able to come off of a sample of 25,000, which is an extraordinarily high sample for this type of information flowing, and much larger than anything else that's been proposed in the marketplace.